Hello, we are live today on Facebook and on LinkedIn. We're doing a Q&A with one of my favourite people, Leanne Cooper, who is a career confidence coach, and she is going to be answering your questions about career and confidence. So thank you to everyone that has sent questions to me. We'll be going through those questions, but if people are watching this, please pop your questions in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them as well. So we're going to be talking all about how you can improve your confidence at work and tips and tricks for confidence building. So I know that that's a big thing that a lot of people have concerns about and want to build. So we're going to be just chatting with Leanne about confidence. So before we start answering the questions, Leanne, do you want to give people a bit of an overview as to who you are and what you do and how you help?
Yeah, of course. That was a lovely intro. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. So I am Leanne Cooper and I'm a career confidence coach for women. And I essentially help women to feel happier, more confident and more fulfilled at work. And I do it in two ways. So I work with women directly, so you can work with me one-to-one or in part of my group coaching program. But I also love to partner with forward-thinking and inclusive organisations who make it a priority to elevate the female talent within their teams. So I do that by delivering keynotes, workshops, training, and also in-house coaching as well.
Oh, lovely. Perfect. So we've been sent some questions, so we'll just dive into the questions. So in your experience, what are some of the common situations where, a lack of confidence can hold women back in their careers?
Oh, so many. So working with, looking at my own experience, but also working with clients, this shows up in so many different ways. So from raising the hand for opportunities, so when things come up at work, like exciting projects or secondments, raising the hands and saying, "Oh, I'd like to be considered for that." Yeah. That's an area where women tend to be held back by lack of confidence. Putting themselves forward for things like promotions, moving up the ladder. Women tend to hold themselves back a lot more than men do. Things like advocating for the needs and setting boundaries, that comes up such a lot when it comes to confidence at work. Not feeling like they can say no, and that by saying no means that they're not as good as an employee or they're the weakest link in the team. So yeah, advocating for needs and boundaries. So it comes up such a lot with those women at work, unfortunately.
So why is it, do you think, that women are reluctant, some women, obviously not every woman, to put their hands up for that promotion? Why do you think it's more prevalent, I get my words out, for women to not put their hand up and see their male colleagues going for those promotions that they maybe wish they could?
Yeah, well, I can't speak for everyone, but I can speak for myself and I can speak for the clients that I've worked with. And a lot of the time it comes down to society and the way that we've been brought up. So I know for me, there was a lot in my upbringing around don't show off, don't appear bossy.
Yeah.
No one likes people who boast. And be a good girl, be quiet, listen to other people. And we're brought up being kept small, and then all of a sudden we're in a situation where we need to shout about ourselves and our skills and put our hands up and put ourselves forward, and it feels quite scary because it's not something that we used to doing. And there can be loads and loads of reasons why it feels tough and it feels scary, and I'll cover off a couple of them and see whether any of them resonate with the people that are watching. But key things that come up that affect my clients are things like lack of clarity around strengths. So not thinking about having the time to think about themselves and what they're good at and what their areas of expertise are, because they're that busy on the hamster wheel just doing the work. And they end up feeling like disengaged. So being disengaged is quite a big thing. I see this quite a lot with women who have had periods of absence from work. So things like maternity leave, they feel a bit out of the loop and that affects their confidence. Skills, knowledge and experience gaps are things that affect our confidence as well. Perfectionism, a lot of us have got a desire to be perfect in all areas of our lives. I know that's something I've definitely felt. I felt like I need to be the best mum that I can be. I need to be the best leader at work that I can be. I need to be the best partner that I can be, the best friend, the best daughter. And we set these incredibly high standards for ourselves, which of course we're not going to be able to hit consistently all of the time. And that then affects our confidence. We tend to be in our own head a lot. as well. I know that when I speak to my clients, they talk about how the thoughts run away with them. They get on negative spirals and they start doubting themselves and doubting their abilities. And they come up with all of these reasons why they can't do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us have been in confidence crushing situations as well. So things that have happened in our life that have knocked our confidence. Comparison trap is another thing that happens a lot. So we look around us and we compare ourselves to other people. That's another thing that affects confidence. Our circle can affect our confidence as well. So the people that we surround ourselves with. So if we're surrounding ourselves with people who are pulling us down and not supporting us and not encouraging us and talking us out of things, again, that's going to be something that affects our confidence. So there's a lot of stuff up against us, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really good points. And I know that people will definitely be resonating. So actually that moves on really nicely to another question of intent. So what actionable steps can we start taking then to improve our confidence at work?
Yeah. I think probably the biggest tip that I can give people watching today who are thinking, do you know what, I wish I felt a bit more confident. And if I felt more confident, I'd be able to do X, Y, and Z, would be to realise that confidence is an inside job. So it's not given by somebody else. And it's absolutely not earned by proving yourself to other people. So if at the moment that's where you're looking to find confidence, then you're looking in the wrong place. So don't get me wrong, external validation feels great, doesn't it? We all love to be told we've done a great job, or to feel like we're appreciated. And it feels really good when other people recognise our work, and it feels great in the moment, but that's just it. It's in the moment and it's fleeting. And then the rest of the time you're left with what you think of you. And the relationship with yourself is where me and my clients always start, because the way that you treat yourself has much more impact on your progress, I believe, than anything else at all. So in terms of action steps and things that you can do, I would start looking within, first of all, and start looking at yourself. Start spending some time making sure that you're a priority and that you're treating yourself with the utmost respect.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time you don't treat yourself with that respect, every time you don't put those boundaries in that you need to put in, every time you do put everybody else before yourself, you're sending that message to your brain to say, actually, you're not as important as everyone else. Your needs don't matter as much as other people. And over time, that chips away at your self-worth, at your self-esteem, and at your confidence. So a really great place to start before having to involve anybody else is that inner work and that relationship with yourself, and making sure that you're a priority. Spending time remembering who the hell you are as well. Like,
I love that. You know what? I feel like, I mean, I don't go. I'll be honest, I don't go. But you know, like if you actually spend time going to like the gym, and I don't go, but you get that, like, it's obviously the endorphins, but actually that time you spent like investing in you is huge, because then you come back and you think, yeah, I was worth. I mean, I don't go to the gym anymore, so I'm not. This is not me sort of saying it from, you know, but the odd time I have gone or taking time out to go for that walk or whatever.
Yeah.
It's really powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, it really, really is. And treating yourself with that respect and making yourself a priority. And you know, you might need to start small if that's something that you've not done for a while, and you've let your needs consistently drop to the bottom of the pile. But it's a place that you can start and build on, and start really small and start taking those steps to prioritize yourself again. Spending time remembering who you are as well. Like, one of the activities I do with my clients right at the beginning of our relationship is getting them to reflect back and look at all of the things that they've achieved throughout their lives. So just sit down with a pen and paper and a cuppa or a glass of wine or whatever, a little bit of quiet time for you, and just sit down and write down those achievements. And then when you've wrote down that massive list of achievements that I know that you'll have, then have a look at, for each of those achievements, which strengths, qualities and attributes of yours that have got you there, because they haven't happened by accident. They've happened through you being the amazing, incredible, talented person that you are. So it's just about taking that time to step off the hamster wheel, creating and carving out that little bit of time, that pocket of time, even if it's 15 minutes, to sit and remind yourself how amazing you are, and consistently keep up that habit. So you know, you don't have to spend hours every day thinking about it. You know, you can just, while you're brushing your teeth on a night, the 3 minutes that you spend while you're brushing your teeth, spend 3 minutes reflecting on the day and what you've done that you're proud of. And it doesn't have to be massive achievements every day, and it could be small things. Like, sometimes just getting through the day is an achievement, isn't it? You know, when you've got had one of those days and everything's up against you. But it's so important to to reconnect with yourself and to rebuild that relationship with yourself and start showing yourself just how capable you are, how competent you are, because it's so important that you feel like that, and you can validate yourself internally, and that you're proud of yourself and the things that you've achieved, and creating more and more evidence of that is going to be really, really helpful. One thing that massively affects confidence, there's loads of stuff, but one stuff that massively affects confidence and fuels self-doubt is avoidance. So if you think, oh, I don't feel confident in X, Y, and Z, avoiding that thing just fuels that self-doubt and fuels that lack of confidence even more. So start by showing yourself evidence, showing your brain evidence of what you can do. So if you think about what your goal is in terms of confidence, your own personal goal, think about what it is you want to achieve, and think about what small step you can take today that's going to get you one step closer. It doesn't matter about all the other steps. Just think about where you are and start taking one small step.
I love that. Oh, it's so, I love chatting to you, man. I think you do really. It's manageable, isn't it? It's like, and I think that's a lot of people do journal, don't they? I mean, I don't, but I know people do, and the people that do it always talk about how therapeutic it is, and I guess, and how like you say, it helps you reflect on what you've done and all the achievements you've done. But really, and do you know what else? I mean, this is as a recruitment. From a recruitment perspective, but actually, if you ever write your CV, I always find that's a really actually worth, even if you're actually not applying for jobs, but it's just that reminder of all the incredible things you've actually done in your career, and you forget, and you're like, oh my God, I did that.
Yeah, that's
actually a really good confidence building tool, just to write your CV or read it or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we've had another question from someone. She was recently passed over for promotion, so her confidence has taken a knock. How can she build up her resilience and confidence again at work?
Yeah, I think when we have these knockbacks and these rejections, they're inevitably going to feel hard, aren't they? Like, it's horrible, whatever the situation is, when you feel like you haven't got the outcome that you want. But the biggest tip that I could give around that and around building yourself back up after rejection is make sure you what tends to happen with women a lot that I work with who have had rejections is it's not the rejection itself, it's what they've made the rejection mean. So you not getting a job means that, quite simply, you haven't been given that opportunity. It doesn't mean that you're not worthy, that you're not good enough, that you won't get other jobs in the future. So please don't let yourself go down this negative spiral where you start criticizing yourself. It's so important to show yourself compassion in these situations. You haven't been successful this time, but there's no evidence to say that you won't be successful in the future. I've actually wrote a blog post on this as well, so I can link that. Yeah, I'll link that under the chat when we've finished, because there's lots of tips to how to deal with rejection. I think that might be really useful for the person that's wrote in. But yeah, I would focus on what the rejection is and not don't make it more than what it is, if that makes sense.
I love that.
Yeah, quite a lot of the time it's not what the rejection is, it's what we make it mean, and the stories that we start telling ourselves about how we're not good enough and how we'll never get another job again. And it's not that. Treat yourself with compassion and look at what you can get from the experience to help you to move forwards, and don't avoid future situations. Don't let it be a situation where you think, oh, do you know what, I didn't do well in that interview, so I'm going to avoid other interviews, because the situation will just get worse and worse. Always get yourself some detailed feedback when you've had an interview, so you know which areas that have gone really well and which areas you need to work on. One thing I always say to my clients as well is when you've had a job interview, like after you've had a minute to just chill after the interview and like compose yourself again, because it's nerve-wracking, right?
Yeah, your adrenaline's going, isn't it? I would feel hot and your heart's going, isn't it? And
when you've had a moment to yourself afterwards, while everything's still fresh in your mind, just write down, reflect on the interview and think, well, what questions felt really easy and comfortable to answer, and what felt uncomfortable, because that'll inform you on where you need to do the work moving forwards. And always make sure you get feedback, so you know where to channel your efforts.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, and then I think this is another question that some people, I think this is the whole thing, when we're taught not be bossy. So sometimes I worry that overconfidence can be seen as arrogance. So what's the difference between confidence and arrogance?
I think for me, it all comes back to your intention. So what intention is sitting behind your actions? So are you wanting to make somebody else feel bad? Is it a negative intention that you've got, or is it the fact that you just wanting to talk about something good that you've had because you're proud of yourself? If it comes from a good place, and if the intention that sits behind it is a positive one, I think that's what makes the...
Maybe we should all be more arrogant. Maybe we should all be like, you know, maybe
Yeah,
that's...
I think we need to change the narrative around it, because I know, like, when I was growing up, like when I was younger, if there was like confident women, we would all be like, who does she think she is? Look at her talking about herself. And now I think, I can't believe I felt like that. Because now if I see somebody like championing themselves or cheerleading themselves or shouting about their achievements, I'm like, yes, that's amazing. That's really, really positive. But it's the culture thing again, isn't it? We're like, if somebody's shouting about themselves and we don't like it, then if we get a bad feeling, we need to sit with that feeling and think, why does that make me feel bad? What is that shining a light on for me that I'm not happy with me, that I need to work on? Because quite often that's the reason why we don't like to see other people doing well, is because there's something internally with us that we need to work on and address.
Yeah, it's often I'm just thinking, you know, someone springing to mind is Meghan Markle, and, you know, love it or not, you know, and obviously there's quite polarized opinions about her, but the press obviously don't like her being quite a strong female, and that's the message that we are being fed on a daily basis. So I think there is so much, you know, that we need to unpick as society and actually listen. If you start reading those stories, you know, what are those stories telling us? What, you know,
I know.
Really question. So Claire said she's mum to a beautiful little boy. She's really career driven. She's definitely struggled with mum guilt. She wants to advance her career, but it means that she can't spend much time with her family. Do you have any advice on how to overcome this? I hear you, Claire, because I feel exactly the same as you. So I'm really excited to listen to them because I love my job, but I also then have that guilt that I'm spending too much time on it. So yeah. Well, over to you.
I can completely resonate with that, because I have been there in the past. And do you know what? I used to put myself to the bottom of the pile all the time. We've spoke about this before, Liz, haven't we? And I never used to make myself a priority. And I used to put all of my effort and energy at work into being really, really good at work. And then when I was not at work, all of my effort into being really the best mum that I could be. And I ended up feeling like I wasn't doing the best in either situations. So the biggest tip that I would give you, again, is to come back to that relationship with yourself, and make time for you. Because if you make time for you and you fill up your cup and you meet your needs, and you're not feeling like you're frazzled and you're burnt out, and you're putting all your energy into everything else, that is a gift to you, but it's also a gift to your family as well, because the relationships that you have with everybody else in your life are dependent on the relationship that you've got with yourself. So I bet that if you spent some time for you, like focusing on yourself and making sure that you meet your needs and taking time out away from being a mum and away from being at work, you will find that you have got much more to pour into each situation. And once you can get your head around the fact that actually making yourself a priority isn't selfish, it actually helps the other people in your life, I think you'll find that the balance is much better.
I like that. I think that's, do you know what? I don't spend a lot of time, but I do every morning a workout on YouTube. It's only YouTube, like 15 minutes. But actually, I do that and I feel like, I've set it up. I've set myself up for that day. You know, they watch the TV, they're fine. And and if I don't do that, I feel a bit shit the rest of the day.
You do, yeah. It really does impact like the rest of your day, and I think I have definitely been that person that was like a frazzled mum and a bit of a shouty mum, and a mum that was, and a mum that's a bit like you know, like preoccupied with other stuff, because I've just tried so hard in both of the other area, the area of work and the area of being a mum, and I've not tried hard on the area of taking care of myself. And once I started meeting my needs and making sure I was a priority, and doing what what was important to me, I found that I was the mum that they deserved to have all along. Like I was much more present, much more engaged, much more patient, and I found that work was much better as well. So I would say, again, coming back to that starting point, start with the relationship with you, and realize that you're not doing anything wrong. Actually, what you're doing by pouring into you and filling up your own cup is so right for your children. Not only do you show up as an amazing mum as a result, because you're not absolutely exhausted, you're also really leading by example by making sure that your children realize that it's important to advocate for their own needs, and you're showing them that you do the same.
Oh, I like that. Oh, brilliant. I hope that helped, Claire. If anyone's got any other questions, please pop them in the comments. Or if you're watching this on replay, we'll come back and revisit the questions as well. So in the meantime, where can people find you, Leanne, connect with you, learn more about you and your services?
So I am on LinkedIn, so you can find me on LinkedIn. That's probably the social media platform that I'm on most of the time. I have got a website, which is www.youfirstcoach.co.uk. And what I'll do as well is in the notes, I'll share some other resources that I've got that might be able to help people as well.
That blog post. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Claire, Leanne, for joining us today. Thank you, Claire, for posting the question. Thank you to everybody that has watched and submitted questions earlier as well.